We're going to be installing door sills on this 2005 Lexus IS. The LED door sills, when you receive them, may come in a different packaging, but overall what you receive inside is the back strips, the front strips, connectors, and wire extension for the positive connection from the fuse box, as well as the add a fuse. What you'll need for this install will be some kind of prying tool. You can use a flat tip screwdriver wrapped in electrical tape, that will work as well, but suggested using these prying tools is your best option. Wire crimper, so you can use it to crimp the butt connectors. A needle nose plier, or one of these with the same plier end on the end. A screwdriver, a rag to clean off the door sill, and some kind of blow dryer or heat gun. Move these right here. All you do is insert the prying tool onto the bottom of this and just pop up, and go down the length of this. There's actually 3 clips, 1, 2, 3, and once you pop those off, you take a rag first, wipe off the dust off this, and then you clean it off with water, or soapy water, or some kind of alcohol wipe and stuff like that. So make sure you clean this off real good with this cleaning, this sticking effect. Rag has been wet down, and once you wipe it down real good, the dust should come off, and you shouldn't see any of the previous watermarks or anything like that. If you do, just use some kind of really light solvent to clean it off. Wait for it to dry off before you start sticking anything onto there. So meanwhile, what you do is pry off this cover. You just simply lift it by hand like this, and then just pop off. The front is usually hooked on, so you have to be careful with this. There is a hook right here, so be careful not to break that. Next, what you'll do is pry off this seal piece. You pull this up, and they're just pressed in. So the carpet piece right here is clamped onto another metal piece like this. All you do is pry that up as well. You're gonna have to separate this to get to run the wires down further. So you'll do that for the front section. Just peel the rubber off first. It'll be easier to separate like that. Then you take the fuse panel off. See that red bolt right there? That's where you would unscrew it. Once you remove that, then the cover just pulls right off these clips right here. Like so. It comes together in a bundle like this. And the 2 wires are actually still together. All you do is separate these, because you're going to run 1 wire down each side. So I actually included quite a bit of wire for you to extend any short wires, or if it's not enough for your installation. Okay, so once you have separated one of these, you'll find the fuse location. This is door on it, 20 amp. So that's second from the top on the very left side. So I've removed the fuse from this location right here. Second one from the top. You pulled it out. This fuse that you've pulled out, you insert it into this added fuse right here, just like this. Plug it into this location that you just pulled the fuse out of, like so. So then you run this wire down the length of the car, so it'll run to the back of the car, but you'll tuck it under everything else. You take one of these pieces right here, take this here, mock it up first, make sure everything's okay to the location that you want. Personally, I would remove this rubber black shielding. Pull this thing off, this shrink wrap. So 2 wires, white and black. The white can go to the positive wire that you have just ran from the fuse location. You'll tap into that. And how you tap the wire is you basically strip off some, like this. You take one of these taps, fold the wire over a little bit like this so you have some meat to grab onto. Insert it inside this all the way. And then you use the crimper tool on this crimper and pinch it down. Next, you take one of these P-taps. You find a suitable location that is going to be closest to the door switch, and you simply close it in on this, like on the wire, and you use needle nose plier and just pinch it down. You'll hear a click once the clamp's shut, and it should be on the wire. So then you take this wire right here from the door sill and you just plug it in inside the wire that you have extended. With the ground wire, same thing, strip the wire off, fold it over, push the wire in a bit, and just crimp it down. To get to this door switch here, you'll pull this off, and then there's a cover here that you need to pop off, which covers the seat belt. All you do is just pry it open and it will come off. And then to do the front and the rear, it's probably easier if you just remove this cover off first in the beginning. And what you do is you will pull off the rubber on both sides. Actually, first you need to remove this piece right here. You simply lift up the front end, pop it off, and take this cover off. It will slide right off. There's no clips or anything. And then you start pulling on this rubber seal. Pull it off like this. And then you'll simply pull off all the clips one by one from the bottom to the top. And this thing will separate right here. So it'll be easier for you to access this wiring harness for the front door, for the door switch, as well as run your wiring from the front to the rear. You'll see the wiring here. That's on this plug right here. There is the wire right there, and you will tap into it with one of these P connectors. So you'll take this wire right here, you peel off some of the shielding with a razor or a scissor. Be careful not to cut yourself with the wire. Cut off any excessive that you don't need. Take the P connector like this and just clamp it down until you hear a click. Then you just connect the ground wire inside it. Make sure this is centered and is into the slot. Then you just connect it back onto the door switch. It should come on. So hypothetically, if you press this now, it was actually shut off, and you open, whenever you open the door, it should come on just like this. So that's for the front. Have dried off the locations here, mocked up the wiring, everything looks good, and then it's time to tape it down. So if you see previous watermarks, it's best to just match up those locations so you won't see it after you install this product here. Once you determine that it's a good position, then what you do is just peel off the backing of the double-sided tape. the edge as you can on the inside and just press it down. Then you reinstall the rubber boot and the rubber seal by simply press it into the metallic edge there. And the wiring, all you do is just tuck over this clip or tuck under the clip like this and just press down. It will fold right over, so don't worry about that. And this right here, you'll wait till you put the back seatbelt cover on before you put this piece back on. This will go on last. So then the wiring here, you want to tuck it under the cover. Make sure these clips go on the inside and cover the wire first before you tuck it back into the clip, like so. And then this piece will go on last after you've done the rear end. So once you have run the wires to the rear, you simply just place it right here. Pull this off first. Pull off this clamp. The wire, the plastic off the clamp. If this pops off, that's fine. All you do is put it back in. There's two little indentations, and that's where the clip should go on to. You take your wiring and you tuck under the carpet, out of the way of any mechanical parts for your seatbelt there. And once the wiring is laid out, simply put it to the side. Remove this piece as well with your prying tool. Simply slide it in on the bottom and pop it off. Pop it off. There's two clips, 1, 2. Wipe off any dirt on this, water or anything like that. So some people are having difficulty accessing the switch here. All you do is pry open their seat, and you'll see this harness here stuck on by some rubber sealing of some kind. Just gonna pry that off. You unclip the wire. It's a release tab. And the wire pulls out a little bit. Same thing, you use a razor. Be careful not to cut your seat there. Peel back the wire a bit with the wire cover. Take a P-tap there. You don't want to be right on the clip, so you want to go in a little bit further. Make sure it's actually clamped all the way in, like so. Same thing, you remove the rubber piece. This shielding. Door pieces from the door cell to the switch is too short, so what I've done here is the wires that I've included, you cut a strand off of it, peel off the wire back, peel off the one on the door cell side. You can either use butt connectors, or you can just simply twist the wires together like so. If you pull on it, it won't separate, and wrap it up. So simply wrap up like this and go a couple rounds like so. Black wire, strip some off, fold it over. Clamp it down. You can actually split this wire in half like this. Clamp it into the P-tab like this. Push the seat in so you can see the harness or the switch, and plug it back in like so. This is the wire that came from the front. Once a proper connection is made, this will light up, and if you hit the switch, it should turn off. Both rear doors are linked together, so if you open one door, both doors will light up for the rear. The angle of this rear piece has to form to the curve of this piece here. Measuring from this dot right here where the curve begins, which would be right where the S is, this is where we're going to heat up so that it will form the edge. So you could use a blow dryer, simply heat up where the S is on the driver's side. The passenger side you would have to measure and see which side would be, what area would be good. Basically, probably right on the Lexus logo would be fine. And you just heat up this section on both sides. Go slow, don't go too close, just let it heat up. Once about maybe a minute and a half or 2 minutes or so, it should be soft enough for you to bend it a little bit. So it should be somewhat soft like this, and you can actually use your fingers and slightly form. Don't go too hard, you actually break this if you flex it way too hard. So just slightly flex like this, and it should form a slight curve. And just keep working at it slowly until it has formed the shape that you need to fit it on there properly. I'm actually going to use a heat gun here. It makes the process a lot faster, but you have to be very careful as it heats up quite fast. Slight curve like this going up. If you want to meet up the OEM location, you'll just match it up to it. With a slight curve like this, it should fit just fine, like so. So it'll sit really flat like this, and all you do is just peel off the backing and stick it on like the front. So then you'll reinstall this piece. Tuck the rubber piece back in from the top and work your way down. Wrap off. If you see any excessive wiring on the positive wire coming from the fuse panel, as a safety precaution, just tape it off. Clean up the wiring like this, and then roll it up like this. You can either use some tape to wrap it up, or if you have zip ties, you can use zip ties as well. Took the wire under, out of the way, put the cover back on. Type this in. Tuck the wire inside the harness here so it's out of the way. Take the back cover, put it back on top, like so. Make sure the clips are lined up to the OEM hole locations, and just give it a light tap. You would go from the top with this right here, press it in. Like so. And you go from the back. There's a little piece right here that will go inside the metal clip, like here, here. You just mash it up to that. Make sure this plastic piece inside under the seat. Press it in, and you're done. That's it. To remove the passenger side panel, first you have to release the little screw. Some of them may or may not have this, but you unscrew it from the back end right here where the screw point would be. See that red bolt right there? That's where you would unscrew it. Once you remove that, then the cover just pulls right off these clips right here. So on the passenger side, you would tap into the door DL circuit here, which is the top left. If you don't have that and you add a fuse in there, it should work. So if not, if you find it difficult, then just tap into the dome light 7.5 amp next to it, which would look like that right there. It's like when it's done. There's that.